Hey there, it's Michael. Welcome to Whole Again, the show that's here in support of you creating a meaningful life and the person you're becoming. And I'm excited to share a new series with you that will air this summer as America turns 250 years old, which is still pretty young relative to many other countries across this big blue marble that we all share. The series is called A Perfectly Imperfect Union. In 2022, I rode my bike across America, from Astoria, Oregon to the Lincoln Memorial. My wife drove our RV, and she had two co-pilots, Jester and Hope, two Springer Spaniels. And when we did it, America was coming out of the pandemic, and we were hurting from things that had happened prior to the pandemic. Of course, going through what we all went through. And at that time, and this is something I still believe today, is that we were entering an inflection point. An inflection point for us to hopefully pause, breathe, and reflect on who we wish to become as individuals, as communities, and as a country. As I pedaled across America, I wanted to share America's beauty with others, her natural beauty and the beauty of her people. And I also wanted to share where we were hurting. As America turns 250, I believe Kinstugi, which is something we use as a metaphor here at Whole Again, is a perfect metaphor for where we are as a country. There's so much beauty to celebrate, and we can also acknowledge that parts of us feel broken or are broken, but we can find a way to come back together, just like Kinstugi teaches us. And when we do, we don't try to erase or cover up where we have scars or blemishes. We highlight them in gold, and we celebrate them as symbols of our strength and resilience. Kinstugi is called the golden repair, and in essence, we can see beauty in something that's perfectly imperfect. During this series, I plan to speak to at least 2 people in each state and the District of Columbia. So 102 conversations with real folk, as I like to say. We're going to let the celebrities and the big influencers have their day somewhere else. But here, I want to reach out and talk to real people and listen to their reflections as they think about America turning 250 years old. And my hope is that you'll tune in to at least one, if not all 102. Because my theory going into this is that you'll hear different perspectives. Some may be aligned with yours. Others may not. But my hope is that you hear the goodness in your fellow citizens and realize, as Maya Angelou shared with us, we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. I've had the privilege of traveling all over the world and all over this country. And this belief is something that I hold deep inside of me. So yes, I do believe that we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. So if you're ready to get to know one of your fellow neighbors, take a healthy breath in and a slow releasing breath out, and get to know Bill Jollie. Bill, my friend, so good to see you. So thanks for joining me here on A Perfectly Imperfect Union. How are you feeling today?
Life is wonderful and full of joy. So good seeing you, and thanks for inviting me to do this with you. This is neat. I'm excited to hear it. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
good.
I'm really pumped about what will come out of our conversation. So, for those that don't know you, can you take a minute or so to introduce yourself and where are you calling in from today?
Yeah, so I'm Bill Jollie. I go by Jolly. All my friends call me Jolly. I live in a cool little Texas hill country town called Bernie.
Okay.
We're outside of San Antonio in the prettiest part of the entire state. And yeah, so I like to tell people that I fight cancer by day, obesity and food insecurity by night.
All right. I like that.
It's fun. It gives me direction and meaning and purpose, and lets me meet some really cool people. I During the day I work for a major pharma company. We sell amazing treatments for folks that get the bad news that they have cancer. And the neat and really so much overlap in my life. So I'm a 14-year leukemia survivor myself. It's called chronic lymphocytic leukemia, and it has really just driven me. And the best thing I've taken away from having cancer myself is it's taught me how to fix the 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 health epidemics that we have in America. And so I created a nonprofit called Interrupt Hunger, and we're trying to make Bernie the healthiest small town in Texas, and having a lot of fun. Yeah, good stuff.
I love it. What I hear in your answer is that because you've gone through your own cancer battle, there is a greater empathy that you bring because you understand like what it's like to be the patient and you know what this, and you're inside the system so you can poke at the system and hopefully turn it around for the better for other people. And I love the fact that you're calling me you live in San Antonio Spurs country. I happen to live in New York Knicks country, and we are proving in real time that two opposing forces can come together on the
It
same conversation and
could
have a good
still
one.
get along.
They
Isn't that
still get
funny?
along. It's a
Thanks for pointing that out.
yeah, no problem. My pleasure. So, I'm not a huge Knicks fan, although the reality is growing up, I was a huge Spurs fan. I was a huge George Gervin fan, and I had
Ah,
one
that's
of his
funny.
jerseys growing up. So I was somewhat conflicted in the finals. I was like, I'm a Spurs fan from upstate New York, but I live in New York Nick country now, and I went along with the crowd. But that's in the past. We move forward. So here you are. Well, let's take the summer. You're at a nice, beautiful picnic in that beautiful part of Texas, and your friends and your family and colleagues are around, and they ask you, "Hey, Bill, what does America mean to you?" How do you respond to that?
What does America mean to me? That's such a great question. I love these questions. So I think in one word, America means hope. And I think every generation of Americans, whether your family's been here since the beginning or your family literally just got here, or even if you're looking at the hope from afar, like every generation has the opportunity and the drive to make it a little bit better for the next. Um, Yeah, and I think it's that optimism, and a little bit of the optimism is faded. Maybe a lot of the optimism is faded, but it's absolutely still there everywhere you go. If you spend enough time with people or you look hard enough for it, you see that hope and optimism shine through everywhere.
Yeah, I like the fact that you brought up hope because with hope, there's actually action. There's a bit of a difference, at least from my perspective, between hope and optimism. Optimism, through my lens, is like, things are going to work out. They'll be
Yeah.
better. With hope, we put a little muscle into it, a little step forward, a little action to create the future that we're looking for. So I love the fact that you bring up the whole concept of hope.
Yeah, one of my friends is a gentleman farmer out in East Texas. He's in his 70s. He's seen a lot of the world, and he wears a ball cap that says "Apocalyptic Optimist."
I like it.
No matter how bad things may seem, If we come together there and keep hope and faith, and it'll work out.
I
So
think you need to have that as a farmer because if you're planting crops, you got to be hopeful and optimistic that
you really
something's
do.
going to germinate. So,
Yeah.
so Dave, you mentioned, it's just the origin story that so many families have with America. Like, people have been here before it was a country. People have come from distant lands to immigrate here. Other people have come in other ways. So, do you know much about your family's American origin story?
Yeah, so yeah, we've traced it a little bit. Back in the early 1800s, came over from Europe to Rhode Island. But it's kind of cool actually. My oldest daughter really loved digging into our genealogy, and it's amazing. So Jollie, it's Jollie. The family name actually came from a family of Viking boat builders. There's
Oh,
a
wow.
Jolly boat that takes like the ocean going fishing ships to shore. So this small boat called a Yali boat, and then they managed to go down to France, and they fled religious persecution and made it over to Ireland and Scotland, and there was actually some jollies that jumped on a boat when he was like 17 years old as a surveyor and became one of the founding fathers of Christchurch, New Zealand. So yeah, it's really neat. There's so much history and so much fascination
That's
if
very
you take
cool.
the time to dig into your family.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that story. So,
I gotta tell you,
yeah.
There was also an Allison Jolly, maybe probably the most famous Jolly ever in 1596, that got burned at the stake for being a witch in Scotland.
Oh,
So
wow. Oh,
that's crazy.
that's good. That's nuts. That's a rich family history that you got there, Bill. That's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
it's good
So,
stuff.
so one story that is in the news, it seems like almost every day, is the story around AI. From it's going to be the greatest thing ever. It will help us discover new treatments to diseases that we don't necessarily treat all that well. Uh, People, though, are worried about what it will do to jobs, if it will like destroy humanity. So, in 2026, as we sit here today, what's your take on AI?
So I love AI. I'm fascinated by it. It's becoming like a personal assistant to me. It's learning me, and I'm learning how to use it better and more effectively to make I'm gonna say like every aspect of my life better. So I think the overarching statement is AI is absolutely going to change life as we know it, but it doesn't change us. It I think AI is gonna amplify who we are.
Okay.
So, I think, like, kinda going back to my friend, the apocalyptic optimist, um, you could easily see AI taking us down a very dark road, and I think that is just the motivation so much more motivation for us today to start being nice to each other
Mm.
because
Tap into like what makes us human as a countermeasure
yeah,
to the technology and the bots.
that's it, because AI is going to make it really really easy for us to help the masses, but it's also going to democratize knowledge so that, if you piss somebody off, it's going to be really easy for them to come back, and might be small or might be really big way. So freaking be nice to people.
All right, yeah. I think we could do a lot more of that. So
Yeah.
that gets me to the next question. As you might know, I use the Japanese art form of kintsugi as a metaphor for this series where the pottery breaks
Yeah.
and we repair it. And instead of hiding the repair lines, we dust them with gold and they become symbols of our strength and resilience. So as we look at the country, we can see some places where there are some fractures or maybe some brokenness. It's messy. If you could choose one area to help us reconnect to heal, to grow, to connect better in maybe not in a perfect way, but in a meaningful, like first step, as we talked about earlier, what would you wish to take on?
Yeah, so I'd heard this term before, but I had to dive into it again, and I love that you've kind of latched onto this. So I think we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think America feels angry right now.
Ah,
We're really really angry with a lot of things, and we've taken sides. I think underneath anger is fear, and I think underneath a lot of that fear is distance from each other. So if we're going to take away that anger, take away that fear, again, it starts with relationship. And I'll tell you, I came from a family when I was really young. I was in the Marines and growing up in Texas, and I had my firm belief in the world, and uh, I I I looked down on certain classes of people. And through my time in the Marines and my wife and 3 girls, thankfully I don't feel that way anymore. And I realized back in mid 90s, I'm 54 now, back in the mid 90s, like there was just certain people that were really angry. And it caused me to start like just stop and kind of figure out where I am now.
sure.
And
Yeah, it's good growth.
life is so much better now. So
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah, it's important to surround yourself with people that can perhaps offer different perspectives. And I'm sure through your military service, and thanks for serving, you also had travel, right? And so travel, when we get out of our own like hometown, we get to see things through travel and see different perspectives, and that shapes our thinking as well. So,
Takes
yeah,
away takes away a lot of the fear and a
yeah.
lot of the anger. Yeah, it does.
Absolutely. Like,
Very true.
we're all just humans trying to figure it all out as we go forward through
Yeah.
space, on this big blue marble that we all share. So, when it comes to birthdays, now this is going to be an interesting question for you because of what you do at night. So, usually though, on birthdays we have cake. So, what kind of cake are you serving up for America's 250th? And with a cake, we usually blow out candles, big birthday wish. So, a two-part to this question. What are you wishing for America as you blow out the candles?
So, yeah, I wish that we would take better care of ourselves, better care of each other, and better care of this beautiful planet that we live on.
That's a great wish. And how do you feel about the whole concept of cake? Where do you land on that? So, if you're not a cake fan, that's totally cool. I've learned through this series that not everyone is a fan of cake on their birthday. So,
This is
so
funny. This
yeah.
is funny.
So,
So,
where do you stand?
I'm not a huge cake fan,
Sure.
but if there was something with like a chocolate cake with ganache on top and like raspberry filling. That sounds pretty fantastic.
That does sound pretty good. And
Yeah,
maybe a moment where it's everything in moderation.
of course.
Yes,
Yes.
we don't eat the whole cake. So, yeah. All right. So we'll finish up here. So the last person I chatted with was Demetria from Florida, but originally from Louisiana. And she bopped around into Texas and then Georgia, but she's been in Florida for the last 19 years. Her question is, where in life are you intentionally choosing joy?
This is such an easy softball question for me. So I actually sign my emails off with keep spreading joy.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
Inspire. Like that's, the color insights thing, there's red, blue,
Yes,
green.
yes.
Yeah. So I'm a yellow. I lead with positivity and inspiring others. So I'm kind of built to choose joy and yeah, do what I can to make the world a little bit brighter for others, but that's not enough. Like it's not enough to be a kind of a shining light on your own, right?
Yeah.
It's what kind of ripple do you make with that? And
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's my mission in life. Yeah. So great question. Thanks for that.
And what kind of Peloton? I know you'll get this reference as an endurance athlete, but what kind of Peloton do you create with that ripple effect? To bring others along with you, because we're not doing this thing called life by ourselves. It takes a squad, it takes a team, it takes a Peloton, it takes a village.
I love that. Yeah, that's good stuff right there. Yep.
So, what question do you have for the next person I chat with in our series?
Yeah. So how about this has kind of been an ongoing theme here. Like, what are you doing to make what are you doing to make life better for somebody else?
Ah, like it.
That could be your family, your neighbors,
Could be anyone. Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I will definitely ask that question to the next neighbor I chat with in our series here. Bill, thanks so much for the ripple effect that you're putting into the world and helping us create a more perfectly imperfect union. I appreciate you, brother. Keep pedaling.
You bet. This has been so good talking with you, and I love that you're doing this. I can't wait to listen to all these.
Very cool. Awesome. Be well. Peace.
Thanks.
I love Bill's energy and the fact that he's into joy. As the t-shirt says, choose joy. I also appreciate his question. It wasn't a surprising one, if I'm honest, given the fact that he does so much to help others create a better tomorrow, even in his spare time. But I do think one quality of a good leader is making things better for those around them. So, how would you answer Bill's question? What are you currently doing to make someone else's life better? You can share your answer or really anything else that resonated from what Bill shared, as America has now turned 250 years old. You can simply put your response in the comment section below. And I hope you'll listen in to the rest of the series as we march towards Election Day here in the States. And you'll check out episodes of Whole Again and share one or two of them with someone you know. But until then, let's remember to celebrate our scars as golden symbols of our strength and resilience. And don't forget to have fun storming the castle. And if you wish to learn more about creating beautiful ripples and how to prevent a bad moment from turning into a bad day, please visit my website, michaelobrienshift.com, and sign up for my newsletter called The Ripple Effect. And join us each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here at Whole Again and discover how you can heal, grow, and become more resilient. And celebrate our scars as golden symbols of strength and resilience. Until then, remember, you can always come back to your breath. You've got this, and we've got you.